The Brooklyn Bridge is an over 140-year-old suspension bridge connecting the New York City boroughs of Manhattan and Brooklyn. It was the longest suspension bridge in the world at the time of its opening. It was designed by John A. Roebling, and after his death during early construction, was completed by his son Washington Roebling and ultimately his daughter-in-law Emily Warren Roebling. Roebling is memorialized in Brooklyn as the namesake of Roebling Street, which for some reason boasts views of the Williamsburg Bridge. It was conceived to facilitate travel between Manhattan and the then independent city of Brooklyn, which could only be done by ferry at the time. In order to build the towers, they had to dig deep below the surface of the East River. Many workers, including Roebling himself, got the bends or decompression sickness from working so deep underwater. In fact, it was originally called Cason's disease after the steel chambers workers used to dig down beneath the surface because nobody knew the cause of this mysterious new illness at the time. Washington Roebling became unable to work at the site, so his wife Emily took over, with Washington watching through a telescope from the bedroom of his Brooklyn Heights house on a street that would not go on to be named Roebling Street. Work began in 1869, and the construction process was so much more difficult than they imagined. They neither expected it to take 14 years, nor did they even keep count of how many workers died in the process. Historical accounts range from 21 to 40. Even after its completion, tragedy followed. On its official opening on Memorial Day in 1883, so many people packed onto the pedestrian promenade that a dozen people were crushed to death and many more injured. It may have inadvertently been history's first mosh pit tragedy, or a Travis Scott concert. The bridge was such an engineering feat that it was originally billed as the eighth wonder of the world. It was the first bridge to ever use steel cables for suspension and was longer and higher than any other bridge ever built, with the tower separated by nearly 1,600 feet, or almost 1/3 of a mile. In 1971, the city painted a white line down the middle of the promenade to separate the bikers from the walkers. In 2021, due to the growing popularity of crossing the bridge by both commuters and tourists alike, and the mounting number of accidents that was causing, the city created a separate bike path by closing off one of the car lanes. To this day, the Brooklyn Bridge remains one of the most iconic structures in the world due to its architectural achievements and stunning visual appearance, and has served as the visual and narrative backdrop to countless stories, with new stories being told every day.